Just setting it up.
Oh boy.
Setting it up. All right. So, all right. We are now live on YouTube. Let me just take us live on Facebook. This one. All right.
This is so cool. I didn't even know all this was possible at the same time.
Girl. Technically, it's not supposed to be, right?
You break all the rules.
Yeah, I do. I'm just like, F your rules. Tell me what I can and can't be on. So, oh God, hold on. Girl. Hello. Hey, I'm live streaming from 2 spots. Bye. Sorry about that. So tonight, guys, I am live with Tekesha Firefly Martinez. How are you?
I am good. Amazing.
Do you want to tell us anything about yourself aside from the fact that you're fabulous and that you're a seriously talented poet, activist?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And a mom.
Yes, that's important. That's definitely important. So,
and a grandma.
Yes. Oh my God. All those babies. The babies and the grandbabies. I love it. I love it. So we've known each other for some time.
Oh my God. I can't even think of when. How many years ago it's been?
You came into my life when I was at my most broken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was at my most broken. Shaved my head. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a very, very, very difficult time. I don't know if you...
I didn't know that because it was a difficult time for me, and you totally like helped me through a difficult time. And I feel like it was the most difficult. Isn't that weird how that works?
Mm-hmm. I find myself repeating that cycle right now. Same exact cycle. But this cycle is different. The details of this one is different. Like, I know I'm not that same person. Like the wounds, the voids that were left from a life barely lived, they'd been filled. Those few years where I grew real silent. I'm sure you remember that. That was the only way to cope. The silence was so deafening, it forced me to fill the voids with something. And I couldn't figure out what to fill it with. And what I realized recently was I was filling it with self-love. And that's why I had to get so quiet. I remember like you had messaged me. And you're like, please do not disappear on me. And I was just like, I'm sorry. And then I disappeared. And I was just like, I cried when I did that. I was like, she's going to hate you. She's so going to hate you. She's never going to forgive you. She's never, ever, ever going to talk to you again. And there was this part of me that was like, because that's what you deserve. And I was like, this is my truth. Because remember, I used to say, like, you're an unmutable truth. You can't silence you. Do you remember you had repeated that to me like way later? And I was like, oh my God, that's profound.
Yeah, you were like,
get that from? Because you have no idea, and this applies for you as well. Like, you have no idea the gravity of these messages from soul that you're channeling at any given moment. Wow. It's their messages from soul. I don't even think they came from me. I think they came from a soul that was fractured and in a process of reunifying itself. So what have you been up to? Like, how has your journey gone?
Oh my goodness. So numbers. you showed me something with numbers, and numbers absolutely speak to me all day long. And I mean, when you and I connected, it was like a very I didn't understand what was happening. I mean, I was having like these dreams, and I mean, I felt like I was looking for something and I didn't know what I was looking for. And I was like saying it. And then one day you just popped in my inbox and was like, hey, I feel like you've been looking for something. You don't know where it's at, or you don't know what. I'm like, is this like somebody playing with me right now? Like, so I mean, lately it has been numbers. It has been, us moving by spirit, the dreams being prophetic, and just something that I didn't know anything about a couple years ago. And you helped me through that, because I thought that I was losing my mind. I did. I thought I was losing it. And yeah, it has been a powerful journey. Yeah, a powerful, powerful journey.
You know what I learned? I learned this the hard way, a very painful way. It's in that realizing you're lost, that you're gifted with the potentiality of actually finding yourself.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah, because those layers, right? Like there's been layers since birth that have just been put on, and things that I thought that I knew about myself, and things that I thought that were me that really weren't. They were just layers of trauma and other people's stuff. And
Right.
I started to peel them back, like, no. And it's painful, right? Because you start to peel it back. It's like, no, don't take my comfy cocoon that I'm so tight in, and like, yeah, don't take it. It's like, girl, you got wings. Like, I want to fly. I want to fly. It's too
Right.
scary for something new. Yeah. Yeah.
It is. And you know what else I realized? Because it was like the fear of the unknown, fear of the new, the uncertainty. And then I realized none of this is actually an unknown. I'm just returning back to the truth of what I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the truth not remembered. So did we really forget? Or do we just not remember? Is there a difference between the two?
That's good. That's good. And I don't think there is a difference between the two. I think it just depends on how you're looking at it. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't think there was difference, but like Michael's having this conversation in my head with me, and he's like, well, if you forget, it's gone. It's gone. You've opened your hand and released it to the wind. It's gone. It's forgotten. Like forsaken, forgotten. And when you just don't remember, it's still there. You're just not returning it to yourself, returning it to the rightful place in your awareness. And I never thought of it like that. Are these parts of us really forgotten, or are they just pieces we are refusing to remember? That's deep.
That is deep. That is deep.
Shit.
Go deeper, not wider. Yeah, that's deep.
I never thought about it that way until right now. I thought they were interchangeable. I thought they were the same. Just like this thought that the parts of me that I thought that I was interchangeable with the parts of me that I know I am in this moment, and they're not. Depends on how you look at it. Some might say it's just semantics, but is it?
Deep.
Let me put this on the other ear.
Deep.
It's just crazy. There's something about you, something about your energy that just brings my truths bubbling to the surface. Just the fact that you open to listening to me ask questions. And they bubble to the surface. when I messaged you earlier tonight, because this was not planned, you guys, I can't see anyone's comments, just so you know. This was not planned. And I was just like, Tekesha, I just need your truth right now. I need you because you're truth to my soul. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And now I realize you are the catalyst that triggers the rise of my truth.
Wow.
How does that work? Can I put you in my pocket?
Yes. Yes. Wow.
I mean, and you're a deep thought swimmer. I know that to be true about you. You're a very, very deep thought swimmer. You swim very deep in the trenches of your heart's oceans. And there's so much treasure down there. Are you ready to start sharing that?
Oh my goodness. It is so remember I had like a lot of anxiety, and I didn't realize, so what I was feeling was actually like this energy and like this, I want to say it's passion,
Uh-huh.
just like electric. And I thought that it was anxiety. And because of that, I wouldn't speak because I always felt like I was extra, extra anxious.
Keep going.
You just had a moment. But I wouldn't speak because I felt like I was just, I was like always like anxious. And it really wasn't though. It really wasn't like anxiety. It was just energy and just passion and just love and all of those things that inside. And I mean, fear and pain and all of that. But the majority of it was love. And it was just really about me trying to, first of all, being able to capture my thoughts and grab them and see what they were, and then channeling that in a different way. But I thought that I was like anxious and had a lot of anxiety for a long time.
So here's my thought on something you said. Like everything you're saying is triggering a freaking cascade of some deep ass trenchy thoughts. I don't even know where to start, girl. So you said you had these components that made you feel anxiousness, like fear. But there was love as well. And could fear be a form of love? A love unknown?
I think fear actually is like a button, is like a trigger that says that you need to activate something. Faith. You need to tap into what you don't think that you know that you do know.
Gnosis. That's what
Yeah,
Jesus
and I
preached.
think that's what it is. I don't think fear is a negative. I think that it's actually something that is like inside of us that lets us know that we have to tap into what we don't know that we know. And that comes with like manifestation, and that's faith. That's faith. So I think it's a trigger.
I agree with you. I've always maintained the belief that fear is not a negative. It's not a weakness. It's not some sort of shortcoming. I feel like fear is nothing more than something that's bringing your awareness and focusing it on an aspect of you, your journey, whatever it is that you're not quite willing to address. You're not quite willing to look at, analyze, observe, whatever it is that's needed to help you further in your lesson, in your learning. Now, there's this other part of me that's like, well, I just had a moment. All my thoughts are gone. There was a shift. There was a shift just now.
Oh my.
A timeline collapsed.
Is that good or bad?
It's good. It was one of the timelines that had one of the least compassionate potentialities for all involved. That's amazing. So you said you felt electric when you would go talk, right before you would talk, and you thought it was anxiety, you thought this, you thought that. Come to find out it was just unharnessed passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the moment that I had with that, the line of Michael, the lineage, his bloodline is electric.
Mm-hmm.
You were being charged with the frequency of Michael because when you speak, an overlay of his energy, he's housed in the throat, would coat your vocal cords. And so every time you would speak, it would be messages from divinity.
Wow.
Delivered in a way that was digestible for the people, easily digested within their vernacular, so they could digest it.
Wow.
So you needed to speak. It definitely was passion. You're glowing purpley blue on your screen.
Oh.
You're charging up. That's amazing. Love
Purpley
it.
blue, yay.
You see it?
No.
It's on the bottom of your screen. It's like
Wow.
going up your shirt. It's to here now.
Oh, wow.
Raise it all the way up. And I'm doing pink on my end.
Uh-huh. I can see pink, or I can see pink there, but I can't see anything on mine.
I'm starting to flash. Girl, I'm telling you, you were a catalyst.
Wow.
You're not catalyzing change. You're catalyzing the trigger of remembrance. I told you, I needed your truth. Your words are the truth my soul's been craving.
Wow.
Yeah. So what's changed with you since we last talked? Because it's been a while.
Oh my goodness. So I kind of was coming back to my hometown whenever we first started talking, and everything, every trauma that everything traumatizing, everything that traumatizing that happened in my hometown. So I leave and I'm coming back and I got like poetry, and I've always written poetry, but I wasn't speaking because, again, I felt like I was just way too anxious to even organize my thoughts, any of that. So I come back to my hometown, and I'm like quiet and trying to tiptoe around, and it just did not happen that way. Like triggered, and like every button that like could be pushed to try to get me to react was being pushed. And in those moments I had to choose, like, am I going to react in fear, or am I going to notice the fear, acknowledge the fear, and act in love and speak in love? So, and that was like, they were like aha moments for me. So I started speaking, and I mean, I would go in, I would walk into rooms, and it'd be like, lots of people around the table. And I mean, I'm in a conservative, it's 40,000 people. I mean, consider it small town. Most bloodiest part of the Civil War happened right here. This is like the hub of slavery. Like, it's all kinds of stuff, like right here where I'm from. And I'm, the black woman, and I come back, and I like have this voice that I'm just speaking truth to power. And I mean, at first it used to scare me because I'd walk into a room and I just like, I don't know, I'd go boom, and just something would come out. And yeah. So whether it was poetry or if it was like advocating or activist work, that's what's changed. There's a voice that wasn't there, and I've always been the same person, but I didn't speak. I wrote. I just
Girl,
wrote.
oh my God. Do you realize how much our journeys mirror each other?
Oh my goodness, really?
Do you realize that? Because when we met, same time you're talking about, I was supposed to be going live, and instead I went and hid out in Texas. You remember that?
Yes. Yes.
took all the pictures of all my kids, my husband. I shut them all down, shut them down. Nobody needs to know anything about me. And as you were saying that, you said a specific sentence. I had to speak. I think that's what you said. And as soon as you said that, I heard release the healing. And then you started talking about the history of your hometown and how it was like the bloodiest place for civil war. It was a hub of slavery. It's recorded in the land, that suffering,
yes,
that cyclical suffering. And it affects every sentient being that enters that. It's like a it's like an epicenter of suffering for that coast, not just that city, not just that state, it's that entire coast. And you had to go back and speak to release the healing. That's why you had to go back home. So you could guide others to find their way back home to their hearts, their center space, so they could choose to heal themselves, and in turn will be like fireflies in the night. Girl, you firefly for a reason. Shit, you're blowing my mind. I'm not even joking. Oh my God.
I know it's on purpose, because everything negative tries to get me to stop speaking. Everything that can happen usually happens.
Right.
But I know in those moments, it's like, if I push past those moments, if I push past them and still speak, like, it shifts. There's a total shift. Like today I spoke at a woman's a TV show, Primetime for Women, and I wrote a original poem that I was going to do, but my spirit kept telling me do Phenomenal Woman. So I read Phenomenal Woman by Dr. Maya Angelou. And the woman that was getting ready to take the stage after me, after I sat down, was like, she had tears, and she was like, that's my favorite poem. She said, I just feel like, God sends me these messages and drops them through people to let me know. And it was in that moment, like, oh, Tekesha, you're always being used. Always
in a good way.
used. Yeah.
In a good way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I push past what I'm going through, and I still go and I speak, and there's a shift takes place. And it has nothing to do with me a lot of times.
I wonder if we are nothing more than maybe pegs in that wheel of Dharma. People like you and I that were to be used, whether it be good used, negative used, we're just here to be used. We're tools of the Creator.
Sometimes I see myself as a bridge. So, a bridge holds a lot of weight. People cross it, people stand on it to get to the other side. And I mean, sometimes I feel like that, like I'm being used as a bridge for people to get to the other side, to understand other people and other sides of what people go through. And then there's sometimes where it's like people would rather burn the bridge than cross it, like for an excuse of not going to the other side. So I feel like that sometimes.
Right as you said that, where some people burn the bridge for an excuse not to get to the other side. Michael said, what if they burn the bridge because they're so consumed by their darkness that they needed some light? That was the only way they knew how.
Wow.
That's
wow.
Deep. We think we understand people and their actions, but in reality, we really don't. Because we barely understand ourselves,
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. And and to think about that, like, wow, I may have been in a dark place before and may have burned a bridge to get some light. So absolutely. Wow.
I mean, now I'm recognizing that's why I just be burning bridges left and right. It's dark. I'm scared of the dark. Burn it all.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Isn't that deep?
That is.
Like out of fear, they're so afraid because the darkness consumes them and they don't recognize they're nothing more than seeds being planted. That's deep.
That is. It just got me right here. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Wow.
I don't think I could have these types of conversations with anyone else but you, to be honest, because I don't know. It's just like we're sister pieces in a puzzle. Just fits just right.
Yes. And that just opened up a whole nother understanding. I feel like it just unlocked something. Like it just unlocks something about people. And the more I think that I've learned to not know about people, because I don't think it's about knowing people. I think it's about knowing yourself and, having an understanding of who I am. But the more that I feel like I don't know, yeah, that just unlocks something else. Like that, wow. Yeah, that just caught me in my self-righteousness for a second. People burn me because they don't want to get to the other side. Like, yeah, what if it's if they need some light? How selfish.
Not selfish. What if the process of this journey is not to understand others, not to understand humanity, but to submit to the fact that we need to accept that we don't understand and we don't need to understand. You know what I mean? Because what is this really? What is a spiritual journey but that submission, that moment of full submission, forehead to floor? There's no resistance. And you're not bowing down to anything but that spark of God within you. And maybe you're trying to understand, and this is from my own personal journey, what I've come to understand about me, and I can't speak for anyone else but me. When I try really, really hard to understand something that I don't understand, and I just have to understand it, I can't let it go because that I don't understand it. It's because I'm seeking to passively control. Because why do you need to understand something? So you can formulate a response, right?
Yes.
So you can attack back. And sometimes, I had wrote something last night that my soul is a wildflower. Wildflowers don't fight back. They sit silently knowing their roots are deep. They grow like weeds, haphazard. And they have no apologies for having thorns. They're not going to attack you, but if you mishandle them, that's not their fault.
Wow.
Yeah, they're equipped with thorns, and they don't fight back, though. Do you see a rose fighting back? It just kind of sits there.
Wow.
Garden all you want,
Yeah. What's the purpose, right?
Yeah. Because what are you fighting?
Yeah. So I was working on a poem about a punching bag.
And
the punching bag. So the punching bag kind of just hangs there. And while it's hanging there, whoever is utilizing the punching bag is utilizing it to grow stronger. But the punching bag's purpose is to hang there. And the person is utilizing it to get stronger and build up endurance and build up, strength. Yeah, the punching bag. But its purpose is to hang there.
Right. It doesn't hit back. And as a matter of fact, the injuries that are sustained are due to the person that's throwing the blows. And the punching bag doesn't do anything. It doesn't get hurt.
No.
It's only when it has done all its work and is worn down that it gets to come down from that hanging. Didn't Jesus hang? Hung from the cross, and it was only when he was done with his work that he was allowed to come down. Oh, shit.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Wow, you just took that somewhere. Else that I just started working on it, the punching bag.
Girl, go with it. And how do you know those words that I just shared weren't actually whispers from your own heart? Neither do I. Go with it.
We don't know.
We don't. Do we need to know?
No, we don't. We really don't.
Mm-mm.
No. Mm-mm. Wow. Wow.
This is deep.
It
I like
is.
deep. Deep is where there's stillness. The deeper the water, the more still the surface. And you can see the reflection perfectly.
Mm.
I see
I miss
myself in
you.
you. I know.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Deep.
It's like so much has changed, but nothing has.
Nothing. Right. And it feels like we've already done this. And I mean, I know that we have before.
Yeah.
But it just feels like we've already done this.
Girl, I swear you haven't aged at all.
I just got my hair colored yesterday. That's why.
No, no,
You would have
your
seen it
face.
yesterday.
No, girl, like your face is exactly the same. You have more of a glow, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Like more life has come to the surface of your skin. You have luminosity. Like the soul is rising to the surface to greet the flesh.
Wow. Hey.
Well, when you put it that way, well, let me buy a case of that lotion. No, but really, it's like your light is just below the dermis. It's like shining through.
Mm. Wow. I feel like I'm in a good place in my soul, in my spirit. I feel like I'm in a good place. Yeah,
That's
I
great.
do. I gotta stop fighting. I do a lot of fighting. Um, and more of fighting myself, the me inside of me. I do a lot of that and fighting not to speak.
Okay, I'm sorry. The thought came back. So you had said that you are just a Black woman that came back to your hometown. You're
Yeah, I
just a
said
Black
black girl.
woman. Oh, Black
So
girl.
I was a black girl that came back to my hometown and black woman. Yeah,
Well,
nonchalant.
you realize darkness is the yin. It's the female, it's the goddess, the feminine, the goddess, the divine feminine, the creative.
Mm. Wow, the creative.
Yeah. Yeah. You had to come back and create. Oh, that's been making her very sedated and drowsy. Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it's the nuances of your journey are just beautiful. Beautiful.
Mm.
It's like when you stand in a garden and you see you're like inundated with all this beauty and it's beautiful, yeah. And then you stop and you look at one flower and you're just enthralled by that flower and then you notice all the beautiful little details, the speckles, the texture of the petals, the leaves, the way it moves in the breeze, and how the scent is spread. That's kind of like what I'm seeing right now. There's
Wow.
you
Wow.
tickle my soul. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
You've been
Wow.
blossoming.
I know. Remember, I was going through like a really bad breakup, and I didn't. It's like, remember?
Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
end up breaking up?
yeah, man, yeah. That soul tie has been removed. Like, I'm good. I'm good now. It was awkward, but I remember I kind of knew. I remember you being like, "Your light is going to like burn him up," and then I mean,
I don't remember
and
saying that.
then I mean, but then like I would finish performing and I would finish performing in like a venue and like literally he couldn't take it. It just like he would just and that was for me was like, okay, this isn't for him, like it's not for everybody. and he couldn't take the performing part of me, and that, you know, so it wasn't a bad thing, but I was trying to hold on just out of fear. And I remember being like, so what am I gonna do, be alone? Like, I'm gonna be alone forever? Like, no. Yeah.
Well, that was something that I had written before too, where it was like sometimes we feel as though isolation is a punishment when really it's a gift. You know, it allows us to sift through the wreckage of our heart so we can identify which pieces are going to be used to fortify us as we're rebuilt into a stronger, more capable version of ourselves. He couldn't take that return flight home. You jet fueling. He got burnt up. Sorry, boo. Put your ass aside.
Yeah, and I'm like, don't leave me. And like, whole time, no, just I needed this. I needed what's happening now. Just alone, you know? I needed this, and to date myself, and to, you know, like, enjoy myself. And I was just so worried that, because I've always been told too, again, that's part of the removal of the layers. You know, I've always been told, you're such a strong person that it's going to be difficult for a man to be with you, because so then I felt like I have to remove some strongness, you know, or dumb down my strongness. And because I had been told that, and it just, I needed these moments to remember that, to know that that was falsely put there. That was like a false seed planted in my garden that I allowed
a weed.
Yes, a weed. Not the kind you smoke.
Right. So here's the thing. You were like, don't leave me. And what you were afraid of leaving was not a man. It was the cycle of suffering and limitation that man represented. You weren't ready to let go. Yeah.
Yep. Fear of abandonment. Abandonment and rejection. And that was it. Had nothing to do with him. Nothing.
Sorry, boo. Take your ashes, move it to the side. Your bridge is burnt. Thank you for the light.
Right.
I'm such a jerk.
Nothing to do with you. Thanks. Thanks for this revelation of self, you know, like, thanks.
You know, I used to tell boys that, like, high school, my teens, early 20s. They're like, no, but you blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, listen, it could have been any girl. I just happened to be there at that moment. You were ready to grow. Like, I wasn't the reason you quit cigarettes. You were ready to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a reason to, like, continue seeing you or talking to you. Like, give yourself credit for that. But, you know, I think in the time that we haven't spoken, because there was no drama between us, it just kind of like went mute. I think in the time that we haven't spoken, our hearts were definitely still very much connected and communicating.
Yes.
I definitely would feel you often.
Yes.
And I was like,
I'm plugging my phone in, so if it gets dark, I'm just going to go get a charger for my laptop.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. There was no drama. Actually, I got chocolate, remember? Sent me chocolate.
Yeah.
Then you disappeared on me.
Load her up with some sweetness.
Yeah, just like the men. Just like the men, girl.
I am so manly, it's ridiculous. Like, tell you some sweet shit, give you some sweet shit, and cut out while you're eating.
Chocolate disappeared.
Oh my God, that's so horrible. Yeah, my husband once told me that if I was a man, it'd be so effed.
Like, what the hell happened? Got chocolate, love bombs, and disappeared.
I know. I stopped love bombing people too. I literally disappeared. You remember
I
that?
think that when you just said that while we were apart, that we were still connected, it is so true, because I received a love bomb, right, for Christmas from like the whole community.
Aww.
And I'm like, that totally, sorry, that totally, I'd never heard love bomb until you. So I'd like received this Christmas miracle love bomb from the community.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love
Yeah,
it.
and I'll have to tag you in that Facebook, in that video, because I posted it. I mean, a friend of mine came and surprised me with like, stuff from the whole community just to say thank you. And they were like, he's like, we're dropping off this love bomb. And I'm like,
Yeah. See, and that was the thing. Like, even then when I didn't want to talk, I still had to release all of this like upswelling. And so for those who haven't known me that long, before I started doing lives, I would randomly get these downloads from soul that would fill me with so much love. And every single person that was active on my chat box, when that happened, I would make a public post of a message from my heart to whoever would read it. And then I would go to every single active person on Facebook on my friends list and send that exact message to them privately to their inbox, one at a time, not a group message, one at a time. And I would send to like 300-400 people. And
this is a love bomb.
Yeah, love bombs deployed.
Yes, yes.
And it was crazy because I recognize now, I didn't recognize it then, but I recognize now that was some of my first lessons and attempts at reciprocity, allowing that circuit of love to continue all the way around. Because as I sent that, even to complete strangers, and I didn't have to have spoken to you first or had any messages or interactions with you for me to send this. If you were active, you were getting a message from me. And people were like, do we know each other? Like, don't we? I think you meant to send this to someone else, did I? And then I began to see like it was pretty much every single message that I sent. People would reply back once they established that the message was for them, for those that were questioning. They would be like, you have no idea how much I needed to hear this right now. I didn't tell anyone things were going on, and I don't know how you knew that I needed to hear this right now. And did I need to know? Did I know? Or did I just follow what my heart was asking me to do? Which is reflecting a need that you have. Guys, we all have the same needs, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I think at the core of it, we all have the same exact needs, just expressed in different ways, accepted and rejected for different reasons, but still the same needs.
Wow.
Yeah. And people didn't understand why I was doing that. I had a few messages where they were like, you're crazy in love. But
it's so on time.
Yeah, and what I understand now, I don't need to understand what I'm guided to do. And there's a very huge possibility that the majority of people exposed to what I'm doing don't understand. They don't accept and they don't understand, and that's okay. Because just like we're seeing right now, years later, other people are using that love bomb, and I don't need no credit for it as long as it's being used, right? Because I'm really nothing more than a conduit of that message from soul. Like for people who need to be credited for their words and like, I'm the one that created that. Well, that's good, but we're all from one consciousness. We created that together. You were chosen to deliver the remembrance. That's totally how I see it. And yeah, it's just, I just am blown away that they love bombed you.
They did. And I was like, Yeah. Love bomb. I had never heard that before. So I started getting those messages from you. Love bombs. Always on time, too. Just like that one was. That one was right on time. I was like, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't believe in any sort of wrong timing, like at all. I think everything is divinely right. And it's our expectations. Are you calling me, Mom? I'll be right back.
Yes.
Why don't you read some poetry for us? Come on, don't be shy. It's just me and you.
Read some poetry. There's nobody watching?
I don't know. Do we need to know? All I see is me and you. I'm coming, Mom. I'm just putting my shoes on. I'm going to mute this, but I can hear you.
Okay. So poem. Let's see. How about, let me see if I can remember this one. Right from the beginning, I felt the need to nurture my seeds as they grew in my tummy. I doubled my intake of strength, made sure to take my daily vitamin of faith. Through me, they were receiving their first taste of life, so I was careful to only consume things that were right. In the moment that they entered the world, I fed them double bottles of love. And as they grew, I spoon fed them trust. I kept them close in their early years, wiping their mouth as they purged up their fears. I filled them back up with persistence and contentment, and they grew from infants to tiny children. My mental feedings consisted of creativity with a side of beauty and a helping of unity. They were born royalty, so I fed them like queens. I was afraid that someone would try to feed them pieces of negativity, so I made them eat extra pieces of peace after I handpicked out the contamination of greed. And they grew, got bigger, much quicker. Sometimes I had to mix up a stew that was thicker, had to make sure it would stick to their ribs. Sometimes I had to force feed my kids. And confidence soup. And ingredients would include beauty, bravery, and gratitude. And they grew and grew. And I'd whip up discipline with forgiveness mixed in, bake a bread of patience and butter it with focus. I fed my kids healthy to fill them up with kindness, wisdom, patience, and more love. I baked them desserts mixed with compassion, mixed with faith and hope. I wanted them full with all the nutrients needed to cope. And they left my path filled with humbleness inside. And before I laid them down to rest, I made sure they had their taste of perseverance in silence. And my self-grown metaphorical herbs, as I softly spoke over and over the same words. You can be anything you want to be. You can be anything you want to be. You can be anything you want to be. I season their dreams with belief. So when they wake up, they believe that dreams don't just take place in your sleep. They are within your reach. And they wake up thirsty, so I let them sip on reality.
That's deep.
Oh my goodness. They wake up thirsty, so I let them sip on. They wake up thirsty, so I let them sip on compassion. I had to let them know that shit is supposed to happen. But just in case from somewhere they got a taste of hate, I kept a laxative of understanding close by to minimize the pain. Wow. I don't know if I remember that. Yeah. That's called mental feedings. Feeding my kids.
I love that. I even love the let them take a sip of reality, because reality can be bitter, it can be sweet, it could be whatever it is.
Yep. Yep. Wow. Yep. Yeah. Wow.
That. Oh my God. Oh my God. I need another one. Feed me more. Feed me more. I'm getting ready.
This is kind of revolutionary. Let me see if I can remember this. A 16-year-old viola player composed a piece to this, and she like plays the viola while I spit this poem, and it is so dope. It is the dopest ever. Let me see. Let's see. All right. Am I my brother's keeper? Absolutely. And I can guarantee you'll have a difficult time finding one with a yoke-breaking anointing that's cheaper. I keep my brothers for free. It's precisely what it cost me. Let me offer you proof it's in the fruit, love deep within the roots. I've been shaken, beaten, broken, and persecuted with word curses, gossip, and lies, but fruit draws flies. I'm constantly being pressed and refined like fine wine, established in 78. Which is why I show up, especially in pain, and exclaim, love wins again. gracefully broken on purpose to be present and tell you are worth it and never alone. It's companionship loosed in this poem, so take it home. Look around you. Here we are again, amongst family and friends, and I've been sent to assist those who may feel the urge to resist the love shift. I speak life where there's fear with no fear. It's no mistake we're all here. Am I my brother's keeper? Absolutely. And I can guarantee with the release of these seeds fit directly into your spirit, when it quiets down, you can hear it. Peace, 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 peace. My brother's at ease. Don't fight the light. And I'm not here to minimize the plight. I'm just saying no bad bones amongst the home team. Confront them out and get back to your dreams. Divine alignments, sibling assignments. My brothers, I know a tribe that's not blinded and can't be bought by Mr. nor the good old boy system. And I got your back. Matter of fact, I discerned the attack, I binded it up, and I sent it right the hell back. Am I my brother's keeper? Absolutely. And now that you know, I said, let my brothers go. No more control, no more holds. The system's been dismantled with love, with love. I snuck in like a dove, then roared like a lion. It's been handled, no more trying. The enemy's been defeated with pure truth and light. The distraction to get you off track, don't fall for that. Love has set us free. And this faith-filled poem is a key. My brothers at ease.
Oh my God. That's like my current journey in a nutshell. I'm not even joking. There's a lot of things that go on in my journey. Like, a lot of people think that they know everything that goes on in my life, because I do share quite a bit, but they fail to realize, as much as I share of the things that I suffer through, they have no idea the gravity with which I suffer.
Mm.
Wow.
And most people don't know that about healers, you know. Don't. Yeah.
And it's okay. They don't need to know, you know.
Nope.
They need me to be something that they need in that moment, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I can be that hanging punching bag. I won't hit you back.
Yep. But you're never alone.
Right.
Yep.
Right. That's so deep. It, almost verbatim. Because I was at a point where I was just like, you know, this is too much. This is too much. And I had a conversation with Mike, and I was like, if you're going to break me again, just fucking do it. Do it fast, make it swift, get it over with. Don't drag it out. Just do it. I'm not going to fight you. Just do it. And then I was told to pull a card for myself, which I almost never pull cards for myself. It's very, very rare. And so I pulled one card for myself, and there was just one message in it. And it said, you have already triumphed. I mean, it was like 3 or 4 pages long, but it was just that one line, you have already triumphed.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've already won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. That's all I needed to know. Okay, go on. Get on with it. Go ahead and break me however I need to be broken. I know you put me back together anyways. And it's this feeling of like, this time, I don't think I need to be broken. I think I'm able to flow. And I think I don't need to be broken this time, because every single thing that's been placed in front of me that has gotten me riled up to the point where I'm like, I won't go back to my old self. We're going to play this game. See that old version of me come out. And then I say that, and I'm like, she's gone. That girl's gone. I'm never going back to that. I might entertain the possibility, the thought of that possibility. But will I ever really revert back? It's like when you stretch a balloon, it never really shrinks.
Nope.
Not exactly the way it was before. And so I know I'm never going to go back to that person. Like, I remember who it is. I don't resonate with that anymore. And so I don't fear myself anymore, because I think that was one of, I didn't realize until right now, that was one of the things that was crippling me the most. This fear that I would lose this very tight, very manicured control and revert back to that version of me that I knew I was so much greater than.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this recognition that I never will. The fear is gone. The shackles that I place upon myself have
freedom.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. 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 Freedom. Freedom. Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually didn't realize that until today. I'm never going to return to that. I'm never going to return to being that person that would entertain actually punishing someone else for a transgression. Because I could be like that. I could be really vindictive like that previously. It's crazy. And I'm just never going to be that again.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, 2018 was the year of me being given opportunity after opportunity to really just destroy others. They gave me the freaking gasoline and the matches. They poured the gasoline on themselves and they were begging me to set that on fire. I was just like, you know, you want to burn so bad, do it yourself.
Got my own light.
Exactly. I'm not afraid of my darkness. In addition to having my own light, I'm not afraid of my darkness, and you don't get to manipulate my darkness and use it against me. My darkness serves my growth. Yeah. And I think, what if people shifted the way they see their darkness into the way I just explained it? My darkness serves me. I am the master of my field. And any darkness within my field is obligated to serve me. Would they still be afraid?
It's like the seed in the ground, you know. I see that it pops up every now and then on social media. You know, you thought you were in the dark, you thought you were in darkness, but you've been playing it. But it's like that. I think that those moments, because even the times where I like have to shut myself down for a couple of days and it seems dark, it just seems like I'm just you know, like but those are the moments that I feel like are necessary for something new to happen, or for me to even be able to see something within, you know. I feel like that darkness, I used to be scared of the dark and not do anything to not have dark, you know, literally and figuratively, you know. But now I realize, like, no, I mean, light drives out darkness. So you know,
and darkness gives clarity to light, gives gravity. Yeah. They need each other.
Yeah. No, darkness isn't bad.
Imbalanced darkness is not beneficial. But darkness, generally speaking, it's not necessarily evil. It's not necessarily bad.
Imbalance anything isn't any good. I mean, too much light. I mean, light bulbs die. They need replaced. You know.
And if you're constantly inundated with nothing but light because you're afraid of the dark, you can become light blind, meaning you don't see anything. You don't see the details. You have no clarity because all you see is light. Everything is just white.
Yes.
So, anything not balanced. Girl, I don't even know how long we've been on. Oh my God, it's like almost 1 a.m. there, right?
Is it?
I don't know. This is 9:44.
Yeah, it's 12:44.
Damn, I should let you go. Yeah, we'll talk again. We'll definitely talk again.
Yeah.
Isolation is done.
This is good. We should do this.
Yeah, we should definitely talk more often, share thoughts like this. You're gonna have to go on YouTube and see who joined us and what they said.
Really?
I don't see anything. Both lives are still going, but I have our chat as a full screen, so I don't see anything going on in either place.
Wow, I'll go check it out. Next time you have to share some of your stuff.
Like what stuff?
Your poetry, your poems. You have poetry.
People don't know I write poetry.
I kind of figured that. After I said it. Like, she probably didn't tell anybody. I kind of figured people didn't know I wrote either until you just said it. So you said it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mirrors. Sometimes I share poetry, but it's difficult to digest the kind of poetry that I write because it's just so ripe with the kind of pain that just sinks deep into the belly and permeates into the core. And if they're not ready, they then read it and they're like, oh my God, she's depressed. I'm going to cry for this girl. And it's like, it's not sadness. It's a passion born from the pain of a people who have no voice.
Yes.
From their hearts. It's like a lamentation of soul that just, that type of lamentation is felt, not heard, sometimes read, but definitely felt. I am writing a book finally.
Yay. Title?
I don't know.
You don't know yet?
I don't know. It's a book about my life.
Wow.
This is gonna be fascinating.
How far are you in?
I have quite a few chapters, but it's quite possibly the most painful thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Wow. Is it the looking back, or is it the sharing, or is it what makes it painful?
It's this recognition that the trauma was never processed. Mm-hmm. And I've always been a very precocious child, and I was hyper aware of everything, whether it was spoken or not. I've always been hyper aware of everything, the causations, the root causations of every effect. And having elevated my dimensional level of consciousness to the degree it's at this point, gosh, my heart bleeds for the child and is just destroyed for the adult. The adults that were involved in any circumstance. Like, damn. Yeah, I was a child when I witnessed that, but you've carried that burden too in your heart. So it's kind of like double the dosage of pain.
Wow.
I'll do a few chapters. You'll be like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah. Once in a while, I'll send people that I really trust, and like when we connect in that way, I'll send them little snippets, and they usually come back like sobbing.
Wow.
That was my life. But I don't know. I don't know if when I go to write more, if I'll still process in that way. Michael had told me when I wrote the first chapter over the summer, that one totally just eviscerated me. And I was just like, oh my God, I thought I dealt with this already. I thought I already processed this. And he says to me, like, oh, you silly girl. If it still makes you cry, it isn't finished healing. And I was like, then why are you having me write this? Why are you making my wounds fester? And he's like, no, they've been festering. We're removing the necrotized flesh so you can finally get a chance to actually heal. And I think I think maybe that's why I had to go mute for 2 years, because you weren't the only one that I stopped talking to. Anyone and everyone that meant anything to me at that point in my life was removed. Every single last person.
Wow.
Every single last person. I'm thorough. I'm thorough. Yeah, every single last person, because I didn't need a reminder as to how I wasn't able to cope.
Steve.
Yeah. So it was beyond a shamanic death. Because in so many ways, you know, you go through that spiritual death, and then there's also that mirroring in the flesh. Like, although the body hasn't died, everything about your socialization has. So in many ways, you actually have died. You've removed yourself. That's crazy.
Wow.
And I don't remember who I was talking to. It was fairly recent. They were one of the ones that I removed. And she was like, "Where the hell have you been?" Like, you died. I was like, "But I did." Like, but seriously? Well, I mean, in every sense of the word, yes, I did. You know, I had changed my profile name several times. I for a while, I didn't even know my name. Anything outside of mommy, like, I don't respond to any names, not my legal name, not my nickname, not any name. None of it resonated with me. And what most people don't recognize, they're not aware. Emmy is actually short for M is me. Because when all the details of who I am, who I perceive myself to be, were stripped away, all that was left was M. And that M stood for so much, yet so little. It was the shortest, most direct route to me. So M is me, Emmy.
Wow. That's poetry.
Girl, life is poetry. Life is a poem that's lived.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. And people are like, "I want to know what's in your mind. I want to dissect your mind. Do you think you'd survive that?" I don't know. It's a battlefield in there.
Wow. Yeah. Mine too. People say that too. Like, share your process. What's in your mind? What do you be thinking? Like,
demons and bitches. My nephew. Oh my God, my laptop's about to die. Really quick, my nephew, I told him, nephew, I changed my number. And he goes, "Auntie, why you keep changing your number?" Demons and bitches, nephew. Demons and bitches. Like, what? Don't worry about it, nephew. Just save the damn number. Okay. He thought I was being sarcastic. I was like, okay, take it how you will. Take it how you will. But thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you. Let's do it again. Like, let's make a weekly or evening every other day. I don't know, whenever. Like, just do it. Let's just do it. Yeah, like, I have tears forming in my eyes. Don't even just wow. Thank you.
So you guys, this is Tekesha Ann Martinez. You can call her Firefly. She is on Facebook. Definitely. Are they allowed to send you a friend request?
Yes, absolutely. A friend of yours is a friend of mine.
Girl, be ready. Be ready. Everything's my friend. The animal, the plant, this cat.
Girl. You know what you just asked for?
You know, next demon's gonna be knocking at your door. "Hey, hello. Emmy's my friend." You're like, "No, not those."
They already do. I choke them out. Demon bully. A demon bully.
There you go. But that's what they like.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
It's just a game to them anyways. Don't hurt them none. Choke them a little bit.
That don't hurt them none. Just
Right. You know, my logic on demons. Just keep choking them. Jesus didn't tap out. What makes you think you get to tap out? Jesus didn't tap out. And, you know, in Texas, there's this town that you can drive through. It's in the middle of nowhere. And they have this huge sign, and it uses the font that Tap Out, the MMA brand, uses. We were driving through Texas. It's like 3 a.m, right? And I see this sign, and it says, Jesus didn't tap out. You can't either. And I was like, but his hands were nailed. And then I was like, is that sacrilegious? Oh my God. How could he tap out if his hands were nailed?
He didn't fight. He got on there. He submitted.
Right. I don't know, girl. That one still boggles my mind. I'm just like, but he was nailed.
Yeah, he wasn't fighting.
Girl, I don't know where people come up with these things. I was stuck on that for like 3-4 hours. Like, but I don't get it. To the point where I had to tell myself, like, you don't need to get it. Just let it go. It was just a billboard. Girl, till this day, whenever I remember it, I'm still like, but his hands were nailed. And then I was thinking, like, well, he could have used his feet, but no, his feet were nailed too.
Feet were nailed too.
And then I was like, well, he could have tapped out with his head, but the crown of thorns. They didn't give him a way to tap out.
No.
So maybe even through our wounds, we're not allowed to tap out. I just understood right now. Girl. We are not crying on this live.
I got tears. The whole tears.
Okay, we're not crying on this. We are not crying on this live.
No crying.
Okay, I'm really gonna let you go, girl. I could keep you on here for a long time, so I better just let you go. I'll privately message you.
All right, I'm coming back again. Thank you. I love you.
I love bombs. You too.
Love bombs. Love bombs.
Wait, let me exit out of here and end this live. Okay, end the live, Facebook. All done. And then I gotta go to, here we go. All right. Oh, no, I don't need to do that. I just end this meeting.